Okay, this class, I'd like to continue from some things I'd started with a couple of previous classes, and that is to look at one portion of the Yoga Sutras on what it means to practice yoga. So if I asked anybody what constitutes yoga practice, most people would probably have the idea of doing some kind of anasana, like downward dog. This is yoga in practice. But the Yoga Sutras basically say there's three things that constitute yoga in practice. And the first two I already went over in previous classes. The first one being acceptance of pain as help for purifying the mind. The second one is study of spiritual writings. And the third one, that's what I want to work on today, or just think about a little bit today, is surrender to the Supreme Being. So that one is an interesting one, surrender. If you just take the word Supreme Being, sometimes people have problems with that particular word if they don't believe in God, if they're atheists, or we might believe in God, but what does it mean to surrender? To surrender to the Supreme Being. And I think either one of those groups of people, whether you believe in a deity or don't believe in a deity, it's not about what you believe in. It's about the practice of surrendering. And to get a feel for what causes us to have a sense of surrender internally, I think it's helpful to look at one of the teachings of the Buddha. There's a very pithy sayings in here in the Dhammapada. Just wonderful. This is from chapter 10 of the Dhammapada, the first verse. The Buddha says, all beings tremble before death. All fear death. When a person considers this, they do not kill or cause to kill. And any of us can, when we think about death, or when we're in the midst of somebody who has passed away, which I'm sure we all have been at some point, we know that feeling. We can intellectualize it, and it seems almost like a distant thing happening. But when it's right in your face, it's and you experiencing right then and there, we realize our own mortality. But it's not just death; it's also birth. Birth of life brings humongous change to our lives. It can also be any kind of huge life transition, any kind of huge change in our life. We tremble. We have some degree of anxiety or fear. And I think that's what this saying in the Yoga Sutras is about. What constitutes yoga? What constitutes yoga in practice? Is it this asana, able to stretch your arms or be really flexible or strong? Well, it could be that, but how do we integrate this idea of surrender into our practice? And that's what I'd like to begin to focus on today. All right. So let's start just by briefly warming up our bodies, right? And just maybe kind of rocking a little bit towards one knee and then the other. And one thing, as we're warming up our bodies a little bit, I want to maybe consider the attitude with which we come to yoga practice. Right? If we come with the idea of surrender, what might that mean? What might that look like in this particular class? Right? And just a couple of my own thoughts, my own ideas about what that might look like is kind of accepting ourselves as we are in whatever yoga posture we happen to be taking on in the moment. Giving up on striving to be something other than we are, or something that we are not at present. Right? Giving up the striving. All right, let's again continue to warm up, making some circles. If you'd like, we can make some circles with our torso. And just kind of feeling the hips, get a sense of the hips. We really, here's another place where yoga, getting into our body is a means to experiencing our mortality, the mortality of the body, that it's changing, it's not permanent, it's not going to last forever. And yet we have to take care of it. We've got to do our best to take care of it. And that's going to lead to the end of suffering. Right? Okay, and then feel free to change the direction of the circle when you're ready. And circle the opposite way. All right, getting into the body. We have aches, pains in our physical body. We might have feelings of anxiety. And at the root of anxiety is a fear of change, a fear of what the Buddha calls fear of death, or it could also be a fear of birth. Those two things are absolutely related. New life can be very scary. Or any transition, big life transitions, marriage, a new commitment, a new job, all of those things can create quite a bit of anxiety. All right. Okay. And then coming back to center, kind of getting a sense of our back, we can rock forward and backwards now, just rocking the body forwards. If you have your knees, if you could practice or work at making your knees a little bit wider, creating a little bit more space between your knees as you fold forward, you get a nice little stretch out of the hips. And just rocking forward and backwards a little bit. All right, so just kind of opening up our low back here and beginning to stretch the tops of our legs. All right, let's extend out one leg, bringing the other foot on the inside here, and just kind of lean towards that extended leg. Just kind of lean, and you might feel some pull there. See if you can work on making the back upright as you lean towards that leg. Right? You could even kind of turn your trunk towards the leg. So this is without putting any effort in. I'm just kind of looking, I'm facing forward. If I turn my trunk a little bit, facing the leg, creates a little bit of tension, but in the back, I need to use the core muscles to do that. But at the same time, I'm getting a good stretch of the back of the leg. Right? How far you bring your hands is, really secondary. You can even have them behind your back if you want. I want to feel that stretch in the back of the legs. All right. And just a little bit. We'll come back to that one. Let's do the other one. Just a light stretch, just to get us warmed up a little bit. All right. Same thing. You can even use your hand to kind of press against the outside of your extended leg to kind of turn your trunk towards the leg. All right. Extending the back up. And then extending the spine is really key here. When we get that, work on lengthening the back as we fold over that leg. Feel that stretch in the back. Okay, and just a little bit here. And let's come onto the hands and knees and go into cat-cow. Go into cat-cow. Just rocking a little bit here. And just pressing the heels of the hands into the mat and doing cat-cow. So you can continue to open up our back a little bit, stretch our core a little bit. All right, and then lifting the knees off the ground, walking the heels in place. And stretching the lower part of the legs, especially the calf muscles here. And you can pause, and you don't have to walk fast. You can
It's kind of like a slow walk here. You just bend one knee and straighten the other and hold it there for several seconds before going on to the other leg. So you get a nice stretch, nice deep stretch out of that calf muscle. Really important as we get older to stretch the calf muscles out. I've found, anyways. Right. Recently, I got plantar fasciitis in the heel, and I realized, oh my goodness, I haven't been stretching my calf muscles enough. So again, really important to take care of those calf muscles, keep them stretched. For and once I started stretching my calf muscles, the plantar fasciitis really healed up very quickly. I was amazed how quickly that happened. All right, and then let's walk the feet to the hands, and you can give a little stretch to the hamstrings here as well as you're walking forward. So maybe pause, bring one foot forward, one foot back, and just rock a little bit here, and then the other foot forward, and the first foot back again. Just a rock here a little bit, stretching the hamstring out, and then both feet forward, and come on up halfway. Again, another stretch to the backs of the legs, extending the spine out, and then standing, coming up to stand. All right. And just kind of soften the